The good news is, guys, this should be easy for those of you who have been with me for a couple years now with math, because this is exactly what we were doing with adding, except with subtraction. And those of you who have been here know exactly what I'm going to ask you to repeat. Subtracting is the same as
adding the opposite.
Ah, my cult of math. Shh. All right, now be careful. 7th grade is working on this again right now, and they just had a quiz, which you guys had the same quiz last year, where at the beginning I asked them, I said, name the rules, right? And one person put, subtracting is the same as adding. And I took off points, because that's not true. Subtraction is not the same as adding. You can't just change a minus to a plus and have it be the same. It is only the same as adding the opposite. So think about that. What you're going to do is take any subtraction problem. We're going to change the subtraction to addition, and we change only the second number. When I say the opposite, we're always talking about what we are adding, and that is always the second number. So if this is positive, I turn it into its opposite, which is negative. Now, the second rule is that we're just going to follow the rules for addition. So after we change subtraction to addition and the second number into it, the opposite of whatever it was, now we go back to the rules for addition. So in a way, we're just going to be practicing those rules again. When the signs are different, I subtract. I keep the sign of the bigger digit. And that's all it is. And so it's going to be practicing with that rule. I'll give you a couple more. And then again, maybe some longer strings of numbers, just like you saw on Friday. Let's just do a couple more simple ones, though. How about -4 minus -10? Now, again, you're going to see sometimes in the book that there are these parentheses, and that's just to highlight that inside is a negative number, which is separate from the minus, the subtraction sign. So there's parentheses, there's nothing to do inside the parentheses, it's just sort of showing, hey, don't forget this is a negative. So I change it to addition, I change the second number to its opposite. Since it was a negative, it's now a positive. Now I follow the rules for addition. When the signs are different, I subtract, I keep the sign of the bigger digit. If we want to make it more algebraic, we'll put some variables in. And this one not only has variables, but is going to be slightly more complicated. And I'll show you why. When we have a minus and a parentheses like this, you have to be careful. It is minus this entire thing. So the first step might be to just rewrite that we are subtracting every item in here. It's kind of like saying the opposite of what's in here. Right? I can't add y plus 6 together. They are not alike. But what I've got is y. First I've got minus y. And here's the part that everybody forgets. It's also minus the 6. It's kind of like the distributive property. If I was multiplying something by this parentheses, I could say I'm multiplying it by -1. There's no number there. When we multiply by 1, we don't write the 1. So I could say this is -1 times y, -1y, -1 times 6. Again, thinking of the distributive property, -1 times 6 makes -6. You don't have to write the 1 in there. But the idea is that negative goes to everything. It's minus everything in here. Everybody gets minus y, because that's the first one. But then a lot of people forget it's also minus whatever this is. Since it was positive, minus 6. Now we're going to look for like terms. What happens when I do y minus y? Diego?
0.
Well, there's no more y's, yeah. So you could say 0, 0 minus 6, or they cancel each other out, 1y, and I take away 1y. What's left? -6. Or if you had done 0, like Diego suggested, 0 minus 6, -6. Same idea. Okay, so just be careful if you see the parentheses with the variables. And finally, last thing is just let's make it a little bit longer. What you're going to see here is you're going to start to see just a longer string of numbers. So let's go, last example, 12 minus -9 minus brackets 5 minus -4 brackets. So we'll just follow PEMDAS. If I come inside the brackets first, I see subtraction, I change subtraction to addition, and I add the opposite. Since this was -4, it becomes +4. Remember, we don't change addition to subtraction, guys. Only subtraction to addition with the opposite. So now if I simplify in here, it's just 5 plus 4, so I get 9. Now we'll come to the first part. If I were going to go left to right, I have 12 minus -9 minus the 9 that I got in the brackets. So now I just go left to right through the problem. I see subtraction, I change it to adding the opposite. Since that first 9 was a negative, it becomes a positive. 12 plus 9, I get 21, minus the 9 from the brackets, and now they're just positive numbers, so I subtract. And that's it, just going carefully with the rules and practicing the rules. Now, before I give you the homework assignment, let me just tell you about our next quiz.